Here we go, and 3, 2, 1. Welcome into Navy Marine Corps Memorial Stadium, where the midshipmen are set to kick off against the USF Bulls. He's Keith Mills of the Navy Radio Network, and I'm Luke Slabaugh. And for the first time this season, we've got sunshine.
Yes,
Keith, this is going to be a heck of a game. What do you make of this matchup between the Bulls and the Mids?
Intriguing matchup, man. On the schedule coming into this season, you're thinking South Florida 1-11 last year, new coach. This could be a game where Navy kind of flexes muscle and really kind of controls the tempo and the game. But that's before they played Alabama tough a couple of weeks ago. They lost 17-3. We're talking South Florida. And then last week they just hammered Rice 42-29, hammered them on offense. Moved the ball up and down the field behind redshirt freshman quarterback Byram Brown, who came out of Poolesville High School in Raleigh and has really kind of taken this program over. Alex Golish, the new coach who worked under Josh Heupel at Tennessee the last couple of years, opened the quarterback competition up in the spring and summer, and that included Gary Bohannon, who was a transfer from Baylor, who led them to a bowl game a couple of years ago, hurt his shoulder last year. Brown won the job, and last week against Rice, 581 yards of total offense, a combined rushing and the passing. They like to go up-tempo, real difficult task today for this Navy defense.
As you mentioned, the Heupel-Golish offense has some air raid concepts, some run and shoot, some veer and shoot elements, and Byram Brown has been at the center of it. 11 total touchdowns. However, he is not infallible. He has 3 picks so far. What is the key for Navy's defense besides putting their cleats in the ground to get some stops on defense?
Yeah, obviously you want to make sure that the up-tempo offense doesn't create a lot of confusion back there, but this is not unusual for Navy. Every team in the American Athletic Conference runs a modified air raid kind of offense. Yeah. Up-tempo, no huddle, get to the line of scrimmage. Under Brian Newberry, this team has been very good defensively at getting the signals in early, making sure they have enough time to adjust to the formation that they see. Obviously, South Florida is going to try to get the line, snap the ball as quick as they can, keep Navy's defense off balance. P.J. Volker will now be responsible for getting those plays in early, getting the calls made, and then you'll have Rayon Lane and Alex Ramos and the leaders of this defense kind of setting the defense from there and making sure that everybody's got all hands on deck. Not easy, though.
Not easy at all. On offense, Navy is starting to hit its stride. A very cleverly called game against Memphis. They're now 10th in the nation in rushing yards per game, and the O-line only allowed 1 sack per game, 24th in tackles per loss per game. So this is an improving offensive unit. What would you like to see the strides made today?
Pretty much an extension of what we saw in Memphis about 16 days ago, where Grant Chestnut really had a lot of balance to the offense. They ran the ball for over 200 yards. They threw it for over 130. Ty Levitine really looked comfortable in the passing game, threw it to a lot of different receivers. We saw Regis Velez catch a touchdown pass. He went down the seam for a couple long balls, and Alex Texka broke a 75-yard run and another explosive play. So we saw a Navy offense, which we haven't seen a lot of in the past, and that was a little bit more prolific in the passing game, and not just the traditional triple option, but a lot of different options off of that, where we saw Texas running a two-back set where he's running outside in addition to being the traditional fullback plows the ball up the middle. It'll be interesting to see how much improvement they've made in these 16 days they've had off, if they've able to put in some other wrinkles that South Florida hadn't seen yet.
I caught up with left guard Javon Bouton this week at practice, and he said he was impressed with the pass protection that Navy ran. They ran 20 pass plays against Memphis, and he said at the end of the day, pass blocking, it's an effort play, and we take pride in putting our head inside, putting our cleats down, and saying you're not getting to our quarterback. So that has been impressive. Hopefully they can extend all that a little bit more.
And that's also a repetition thing too. You know, in the past with the triple offense running at its highest level of execution, Navy only threw the ball 3 or 4 times, and that's when they really saw an opening or a mismatch down the field that they could exploit. So you're really not working a lot in game on pass protection. The last couple of games, they have spent a lot of time on pass protection, and against Memphis, it was outstanding. Ty could actually look off a receiver and try to find a second option, which is rare for this Navy offense built the way it was with the triple option. But obviously, the coaching staff has done a great job of working on pass protection. And again, it'll be a big test today because they get after the quarterback, but we'll see how it goes.
Decision making going to be key for Ty Levitine and whoever else gets in at quarterback. Blake Horvath had some design runs against Memphis. That was great. As we already saw, the sun is out. The elements could come into play a little bit. Special teams coordinator Ricky Brown already turned his unit around, his return unit, to make sure they were facing the sun for some of these warm-up catches. The light plays a little bit weird here mid-afternoon.
Yeah, plus you got a little wind as well today. When the sun comes out with very few clouds, you get a little breeze here. It swirls around in this stadium. So that's a great point. Where's the sun going to be when you have the ball down a stretch or you're kicking into it? That could play a factor as well. I'll tell you what Navy wants to do. They want to win the toss, defer, get a 3 and out, and control the clock, and make sure that when South Florida comes back on the field offensively, they're a little antsy because they realize that maybe possessions are few and in between. Maybe they force into a couple turnovers just by trying to go too fast.
Today, I asked head coach Brian Newberry exactly that, how taking the ball first against Memphis influenced his feel for the game. He said the team played with a lot more confidence, being able to dictate the pace from the start. So do you think it's a situation where getting the ball first might be more helpful?
Yeah. I mean, Brian knows his team better than I, and it's kind of the chic hip thing to do today to win the toss and defer because you want the ball to start the second half. That's the theory behind it. But I like what Brian did last week. He goes, you know what, we're going to shake things up a little bit, and it worked. So we'll see how it goes today.
Yeah, and if they get off to a lead or they have a lead at halftime,
no
maybe that influences a little bit differently. Keith, as we do every week, who is your pick to click today?
Oh, my pick to click today. I will say it's going to be Alex Texa again on offense, and I will say Alex Ramos on defense.
Alex, we're getting moved over, and if you thought this was staged, you are absolutely wrong. We have got some people. Yeah, we're coming on in. I would say so. Nathan Kirkwood is going to be the place kicker today.
Yeah.
He filled in during the Memphis game. Played with a lot of confidence. Special teams is something that this team needs to improve on. Last year, they were below league average in field goals. This is something, percentage and points. Kickoff, field goals, get any points you can. We're not here for the total yardage game. We're here for the who scores the most points game. So that would be mine, just refining special teams from kick one.
You're always working on special teams, particularly at the Naval Academy program, no question about it. Special teams plays, they're on the field, probably an eighth of the time. And whenever they're, covering kicks, you want them to make sure you don't, with a stupid penalty on a late hit, you want to force the tempo there, and you want to protect the ball when you're on, your kick return team. No, you can't put the ball on the ground. Got to block for the kickers when they're kicking field goals and extra points, and you got to block for Raleigh Reithman, who's one of the best punters in the country. Great punting matchup today, man. They got a great kicker over there, and so does Navy.
If you're Brian Newberry, you hope you're not punting the ball that much and that you're holding on to the ball a little bit more. But yeah, punting is going to be huge. One other note, and this is kind of a dour note to end on, but Lirion Mertezi out for the year, medically retiring. From what I heard, it was not unlike what Patrick Skalniak went through with lacrosse this past year with a back injury. His legs were not doing well, but this is just a huge force. Lirion is such a great guy, someone who's going to be here on the sideline, someone who's just a good morale booster. Just what can he do for this team moving forward?
I'll tell you what, how relevant he is to this program is that usually when you're lost for the year with an injury, you don't travel, but 16 days ago, he was there in Memphis. He's going to be with this team on the road and home every step of the way. He's a tactician on the sideline. He and Ashley Ingram were talking a lot about blocking schemes. He had said something to Brian Newberry as the game went on. If he had noticed something about maybe something that Memphis's defense was doing, and he is beyond a cheerleader on the sideline. He's always picking his guys up when they're coming off the field. He's getting the crowd involved as well. You can't have enough Lirion Mertezi. It's a shame his career is over, but I tell you what, he's not blinking, man. He's going to be out here trying to win and trying to do everything he can to help his team win.
He's still got a great military career ahead of him. And his brother Coca, usually at every game, he is a Naval Academy midshipman through and through, a great guy. He's Keith Mills for the Navy Radio Network. Be sure to catch him on air. I'm Luke Slabaugh. Navy football about to kick off against USF and American Conference.